tasty. Alright. Alright. We're on, we're live. Welcome to the Optimistic M. I'm your host from this show. And well, currently in the midst of my last minute preps. About to fly out. And probably less than 6 hours, 7 hours. It's getting there. It's getting pretty close. So I have some tips for anybody that's gonna be traveling soon or in some immediate future in some way, shape, or form. First, I'll tell you the differences between this time and last time I'm traveling. Basically, nothing really changes as far as last minute preps. Of course, make sure you got all the right credentials. That didn't change. The only difference is I don't have an international driver's license, which I looked it up. I don't need one. As long as they can basically read your license from, say, the States. For my example, I'm fine. I can drive without an international driver's license. So I had to look it up. Otherwise, I had to pay like another $25 or something, which I did last time. I didn't even use it last time. So at least I know now. So just a tip. That's just going to Australia. I'm not sure like other countries, but you gotta do your homework. The other major thing was I was traveling to study abroad, which I'm not doing this time. So it's strictly vacation only. That's what I'm doing. I'm only gonna be there for about a week and a half, and not 5 months. So that's actually the biggest difference out of the whole thing. And then of course, just getting on the ground. So I've already been there. I've never been to Melbourne, but I've been to the Gold Coast, the area where I'm going to be staying. I've been there before. I already know the area. I wouldn't say like the back of my hand, but pretty well. And so I know what the transportation is like. I know, but anyways, so that's something you really should do beforehand, is kind of get a grasp of how the area is, like the topography and just the layout of the area, the residence you're in. That would be pretty essential to know. And then of course transportation, like is there buses, or is there a lot of traffic, or do you live in the country, do you live in the city, kind of thing. I'm more of like in a suburbia area, so I'm not really worried about that. But one thing is that a lot of buses stop at a certain time, and so it gets a little bit more challenging to get somewhere if you want to take the bus anywhere, and especially since some buses stop altogether after a certain time. So that's another thing you should do, is if you are planning on taking like public transportation, know what the hours are. And of course, I didn't know this until I didn't figure that out until I got there. Some things you won't know until you get on the ground, unless you're very thorough. And I wasn't thorough. I'm the type of person that I'll figure it out as I go. Some important things I'll figure out beforehand, then other things like, okay, well, the bus stops at a certain time. That's something I'll figure out later. It really depends on your preference, but this time more so, it's not so much the Gold Coast I'm scoping out. It's more so Melbourne right now, because I've never been there before. One second, I'll change something real quick here. Kind of figure out, I just renamed it the lay of the land, so figure that out. And once you figure that out, it'll help you out tremendously, because then you'll know what the distance is. Again, you won't know exactly till you get there. And then, like I said, I didn't know a lot of things until I got on the ground. Once you get on the ground, then you'll know, like, okay, this is this. Bam, bam, bam. Once you figure that out, it's great. You can do it all over again. That's what I'm doing. So I don't have to learn all this stuff all over again when it comes to Gold Coast because I've been there. So, just something I learned from the last time, this time. The other thing, if you're traveling anywhere outside of the United States or outside of your country of origin, you're going to need some sort of visa. Now, for me, I don't need a visa per se, but I do need a, what is it called, a travel authorization, which is kind of like a visa. Oh, it's an ETA. So basically, it's an electronic travel authorization, which is pretty much like a visa, but it's done electronically. So basically, they look in the computer and see that you're good to go. Now, that's just for me. I don't know, because I'm from the U.S., so it could be different if you're from some other country besides the United States, for example. You might actually really do need a visa. So just something to think about if you're going to Australia. I don't know, but in general, you're gonna make sure you're good to go. And then, of course, if you're thinking about visas and stuff in your last minute preps, then there's a problem. That stuff should already be done months ahead, months in advance. So you shouldn't even have to be considering that. The only thing I had to make sure that I had is basically copies of the ETA and then copies of my passport, just to make sure that, if I lost it, God forbid, that I would have some sort of copy to refer to. And speaking of which, it's good to know where the embassy of your country of origin is. Where do you go? So that's equally important. So if something does happen, you know where to go. Which I should probably figure out. Accommodations, make sure you're solid. Make sure you're booked. Like, I'm good, Gold Coast wise. Melbourne, I won't know. I mean, I'm booked, but if something happens, if there's a hiccup, make sure you have those confirmation codes. And I have everything actually in my, actually have this app. Where am I at? So I have this app called Tripcase, and you can actually, it's pretty good. You can customize your itinerary from travel, flights, places you're staying. You can also add numbers and stuff like that. And see, I got the different times, different flights. And well, beforehand, I made my own itinerary just so I can go into Evernote and it's right there. Everything's in one spot. So I know exactly what I need to do when I get there. I know what time I need to be there, etc., etc. So again, that's something you should have, I'd say, weeks in advance. But being that's like your final prep, just make sure everything is golden, which I've done. Everything is good. All I have to do is wake up on time, catch a lift. Hopefully it's pretty close. It doesn't take me long to get to the airport, if anything. But if for some reason there's a hiccup and I can't get an Uber or Lyft in time, then you have a little bit of buffer. And when I say buffer, some airports require you to be there 3 hours ahead of time to check you in. Mine is more so 2 hours. It's very small. Bigger airports, you want to be there, especially international flights, you want to be there 3 hours in advance at least. I'm going to eat some more of this plum, or Pluto, whatever you call it, but it's like a cross between like a pear and a plum. It's very interesting. Excuse me. So once you get accommodations nailed down, ideally you should already have this nailed down weeks in advance, like I did. And of course, prices do rise as it gets closer. So of course, basically, once you get the flight and once you get the visa, which is like the two most important things, accommodations should be next on your list, pretty much in that order. So then once the time comes, you're good to go. Gifts. So another difference is I didn't get gifts. Well, I didn't know anybody last time, so there were no gifts to get. It was just like, oh, hey, I'm meeting people kind of thing. I'm studying abroad. I'm not really here as a tourist. I'm here as a student. That's kind of a tourist on occasion. So didn't really have any gifts. I did do one thing though. I brought a beer from here, and it was like a not like a small bottle. It's more like a, I don't know, like a 40, not like a 40. But anyway, it's like they call it boutique beer there. It's craft beer here, and then I shared it with one of my roommates because he was the landlord pretty much. So that was my gift, just like kind of like my homecoming gift. Like, hey, I don't know you, but here's a gift of goodwill, as you will. So something to think about if you're, especially if you're staying out in town like I was, versus staying in a dorm or something like that. Just something to keep in mind. And you can have roommates from other countries, and they may not know what your country is like, but hey, maybe you got a piece of it. Maybe it's like a snack or something, which is basically what I brought back from Australia. When I came back here, I brought these Tim Tams, which are pretty good. And there's various flavors. Yeah, you can find them here, but normally they're more expensive. And it's the thought, because you can't find them everywhere here, and they're only available at certain times. So, and plus, a lot of the exclusive flavors are only available in Australia, so that's another perk. Take that, local store selling Tim Tams. So anyways, gifts. So I try to keep it simple for the most part. Something that's practical, not too practical, but, and then again, of course, packing allowances. That's something you want to be careful about, because especially flying internationally, you don't want to get to the terminal, the check-in, and be like, and they'll tell you like, oh, your stuff's too heavy, you gotta buy something. Which is the first time when I traveled to Australia, I didn't know about weight. I didn't know you had to purchase weight. I was like, oh, I was totally clueless. Because I went through a third-party, not air carrier, but travel, kind of like Expedia, but it's like cheapoair.com. I went through them last time. I didn't have to this time, and depending on the third party and the depending on the actual carrier itself, they may not tell you certain things, like there's weight, or you have to purchase in advance, like meals and stuff like that. Some air carriers, they give that stuff away for free without even asking or whatever. But no, I had to actually, with the flight carrier that I'm going with, you had to actually do it in advance. I mean, you can order, but it might be more. I actually think it might be less. I don't know, because if you get it as a plan, the plan seems kind of expensive for what you get. And I mean, honestly, I don't think I'd use everything, because in the plan you get like weight up to a certain amount, you get entertainment, and then you get meals or something, and it's a little more than I would normally pay. So I ended up bringing my own food, at least for the first meal, and then for the second meal I ended up just paying for it on the plane. It wasn't that bad. It's like whatever. Contacts. So the other important thing is to let people know you're coming, especially friends or people you've gotten to know the last time you were there, which is something I've been doing. So I've been keeping contact with various friends of mine, just to let them know, hey, I'm coming, especially if you're going to hang out. If you're not going to hang out, or anything like that, then it's probably pointless. Now, I do have some acquaintances like that where they've kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. I used to talk to them on Facebook kind of deal, but for some reason, not gonna say any names, they just kind of disappeared. I mean, life happens. I understand. Who knows? I know a lot of people, they've gone their separate ways. A lot of people not even there anymore. They've gone to other countries. One of my, I guess you can call him one of my best friends from there. He's not there right now. He's actually teaching abroad right now. So one of the guys actually helped me quite a bit when I was there last time. He's out, but he's cool. He still gave me some tips on where to go in Melbourne, and ironically enough, he hasn't been to Melbourne. So this is gonna be a first of first because I get to go to Melbourne before he does. But then again, at the same token, I've never been to the Grand Canyon, so a lot of people got me there. So final packing, which is something I'm still working on, unfortunately, and I need to actually go to bed like really soon. It's getting late. It's like 1 o'clock right now, which is normal. I swear this happens every time. The night before I fly out, I'm up late, and I'm like, especially if I'm going like far away, like, what do I put in my bag? I mean, I got the gist of everything that's going. But now I gotta sort it out, I gotta pack it, make sure it's not too heavy, and if it is, what do I not take? What's not going with me, kind of thing. So, the weather right now, if you're unfamiliar with Australia, it's the winter time, which isn't too bad considering it's about 60-something degrees right now, which compared to Hawaii right now, that's a godsend because right now it's freaking hot as hell in Hawaii. Okay, probably not that bad, but it felt like 90s, lower 90s here right now, and that's pretty freaking hot for Hawaii. I think this is the hottest day this year so far, and mostly just the humidity alone was like 86%. That adds to the temperature, which is like, well, my phone said it was like 77 degrees, but then I read the temperature gauge in the car. It was like 91 degrees, so I'm not sure. I would go with the temperature of the car because it feels that way. Not the inside, but the outside. If you're sitting inside of a car when it's hot, that's not smart. So, and then of course, getting rest, and then hydrating, which I've been doing all day, which has been a challenge in itself because it's been hot, so I've been sweating profusely. And so I've been having to replenish that all day. And even now, well, with the fruit, I'm still replenishing. So that's good. And I say hydration because when you go on a plane, it naturally dehydrates you because of the pressurization of the cabin, right? So, for me, I need to be hydrated. I mean, not to the point where I'm urinating all the time, I have to go to the bathroom or lavatory all the time, which I've had that happen before, so I have to kind of balance it. But enough where, like, I'm good, I don't feel uncomfortable most of the time. Especially if you don't fly very often, it feels, it's not a good feeling. So hydrate, get some rest if you can. If not, try to sleep on the plane, which that's all I can really bet on right now. That is good to have some of these. I have to talk about gifts more another video later, but I'm gonna keep this short because I actually do have to finish my stuff. As far as the things I have left to do right now, gotta finish packing. I gotta watch the weight. I gotta shave this off. I gotta take one last shower because I don't want to fly stinking. I hate that. Because flying in itself is already, it'll get you worked. It gets me worked up. I don't know about you, but it gets me worked up. So you sweat sometimes and can't take deodorant on the plane. So guess what? Fill in the blanks. So anyways, we got that. I gotta figure out books to bring, perhaps. I think just a few. I don't read a lot. I don't read too much on the plane. I read more like if I'm, but if, it really depends. I think I'm gonna try, because it's during the daytime. It's not like an overnight flight where I can fall asleep and be on the same time. I'll be awake and still be on the same time, so that's gonna be the challenge, is staying awake the whole time. Which I'll take a nap, just because traveling tires me out anyways. So what else do I gotta do besides sleep? Get my stuff out the dryer. Oh yeah, another thing is I didn't put it on the list, but make sure your funds are in order, i.e. credit cards, debit cards, and what is very important is notifying your bank, for one, that you're traveling, because if you don't notify them, they could lock your account, and then you gotta call and be like, hey, where's my money? I can't get access to it. And on that note, have a second and third card, like credit card or something at least, or cash even better. You can't, well, you're not supposed to carry too much cash, but you can carry some cash with you just in case. And of course, to exchange it into the foreign currency, of course. So, which is my plan exactly. So I have the cash on me, and then I have the card and the debit card. So 3 different things in case something doesn't work. You have one of those things that do work. Because I mean, I'm sure there are situations where all 3 have not been available, which God forbid, because I mean, if you're in another country, you don't have access to any money, then that's a problem. So then it leaves the 4th option, is getting a hold of somebody that can wire you money, and hopefully there's some kind of Western Union or MoneyGram there, because yeah, that could turn into a really bad situation really fast. Fortunately, that's never happened to me, but I'm sure it's happened to somebody out there that's watching. So something to bear in mind. And of course, keeping those things separate, so at least try to. Not having all your money in one spot, or everything in one spot. If it gets stolen, for example, or you lose it, it's something to keep in mind. Be smart. And basically just be smart when you travel, and it's basically the best thing I can tell you. I think that's it for now. I really do gotta get going. It is getting late, and it's 1:05. I swear time has like gone so freaking fast today, and slow at the same time, because I'm anticipating like, dude, I gotta fly out like tomorrow. Now it's already the next day, and I'm like, I'm not done yet. Not quite. I'm almost there, though. I'm almost there. But anyways, yeah, man. If you have any questions, concerns, feedback, anything like that, suggestions, please put in the comment section, and whatever platform you are watching this on. And definitely, if you like what you see in here, please like and subscribe. youtube.com/follow for more content. And as always, I do appreciate your support. I know there's a lot of people out there that probably don't voice their support, but I get it every now and then. People tell me, hey, keep doing what you do, and I'll keep doing what I do, and continue to improve what I do as well. So, always getting better and better. Anyways, next time you see me on the cast, I'll be in Australia, in the land down under. So, thanks for coming. Thanks for your support as always, friends, followers, and family. And I will catch you on the next. So definitely, you can follow me on my various social platforms, of course. I have it listed below in the comment section. And you will most likely hear a lot from me on the Anchor coming up, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of audio, and I'm gonna be blogging a bit, but I'm kind of slow in the blog, so I gotta take the pictures first and then the blog, and the pictures come first, then the blog, and write it down. But anyways, thanks for coming, everyone, and definitely stay tuned. Stay tuned. And stay green the whole time. I got a good stream health, so yes. Alright. Cheers, everyone.